The war had been going on for 15 years. 15 long, bloody years that turned whole star systems into graveyards. Commander Taman Park looked out at the burning wreckage of what used to be a beautiful planet. Now it was just another dead world in a galaxy full of them. "Sir, the reports are coming in," said Lieutenant So Young Kim, walking up to him with a data pad in her hands. She was young, maybe 25, but her eyes looked much older. "The war did that to people." Tay-Min took the pad and read through the numbers. 3 million dead on Kepler 442b, 2 million more on the orbital stations. All because 3 alien races could not stop fighting each other. The hegemony empire had started it all. They were big, scary, lizard-like creatures who thought they were better than everyone else. They had the best weapons and the strongest shields in the galaxy. Their ships could destroy entire fleets with just one shot. Then there was the Unity. Collective, they looked like giant ants, but they were much smarter and much more dangerous. They did not think like individuals. Instead, they shared one big mind across billions of creatures. When one Unity soldier learned something, they all learned it instantly. They could send 1 million soldiers where other races could send only 100. The Free Worlds Alliance was different. They were made up of many different species who looked somewhat like Earth's mammals. They were not as strong as the hegemony or as numerous as the Unity, but they were clever, really clever. Their generals could plan battles that made the enemy look like children playing with toys. Each group had something the others did not have. Each group could beat one enemy but not the other. It was like a giant game of rock, paper, scissors that never ended. The hegemony's super shields could stop the Unity's massive attacks, but the Alliance's smart tactics could find weak spots in those same shields. The Unity's huge armies could overwhelm the Alliance's careful plans, but the hegemony's advanced weapons could destroy Unity swarms before they got close. The Alliance's brilliant strategies could outmaneuver the hegemony's big, slow fleets. But the Unity's shared mind could adapt to new tactics faster than anyone, could create them. Nobody could win. Nobody could lose. The war just kept going, and caught in the middle were the humans. "Captain Dongwu Li is reporting from the hegemony front," So Young said, pointing to another section of her data pad. "They want us to fix their ship engines again. Apparently, their engineers are too good to work on damaged equipment." Timon shook his head. The aliens all thought humans were weak and stupid. Earth had only been part of the galactic community for 200 years. That was nothing compared to the thousands of years these other races had been flying around space. So the aliens used humans for simple jobs. The hegemony made human engineers fix their broken ships because they thought repair work was beneath them. The Unity used humans to carry supplies and coordinate their logistics because they said humans were good at boring, repetitive tasks. The Alliance used humans as scouts and spies because humans were small and forgettable. Tay-Min had served with all 3 groups over the years. He had seen their strengths and their weaknesses up close. He had watched hegemony commanders make the same tactical mistakes over and over because they refused to believe their technology could fail. He had seen Unity forces collapse when their communication networks got disrupted because they could not think for themselves. He had watched Alliance generals lose battles because they spent too much time planning and not enough time adapting when their plans went wrong. "Sir," So Young said quietly, "I have been studying the battle reports from all 3 fronts. I think I am starting to see a pattern." Taman looked at her. So Young was not just a lieutenant. She was also a doctor who studied alien psychology. If anyone could spot patterns in this endless war, it would be her. "What kind of pattern?" he asked. "They are all stuck," she said. "The hegemony only knows how to use better technology to solve problems. The Unity only knows how to throw more soldiers at problems. The Alliance only knows how to make more complicated plans. When those things don't work, they just try harder instead of trying something different." Taman nodded slowly. He had been thinking the same thing for months, but he had not been able to put it into words the way So Young just did. "They fight the same way their ancestors fought 1,000 years ago," she continued. "They have bigger guns and faster ships, but they think exactly the same way. They cannot change because changing would mean admitting they might be wrong." A message came through on Taman's communication device. It was from Admiral Ji-Hai Choi back on Earth. The message was short but important. Report to secure channel. Immediately. Priority Alpha. Priority Alpha meant the highest level of security. It meant something big was happening. Tae-Min looked at So Young. Doctor, I want you to write a complete report on everything you just told me. Include all your data and analysis. I have a feeling someone very important is going to want to read it soon. As So Young walked away to prepare her report, Taemin thought about the war that had consumed the galaxy. 15 years of death and destruction. 15 years of a fight that nobody could win. But maybe, just maybe, that was about to change. Maybe it was time for Earth to stop being caught in the middle and start being something else entirely. He activated his secure communication channel and waited for Admiral Choi to answer. Whatever she had to say, he had a feeling it was going to change everything. 6 months after Commander Taemin Park's secret message to Earth, something strange started happening. Human soldiers across the galaxy began receiving new orders that made no sense to anyone watching. Admiral Ji-Hai Choi sat in the underground command center beneath Seoul. The room was filled with the best military minds Earth had to offer. On the big screen in front of them, a map showed all 17 war zones scattered across the galaxy. Ladies and gentlemen, Admiral Choi said, her voice calm but serious. Today, we make a decision that will change everything. We are going to end this war. Colonel Hai Jin-yoon raised her hand. She was the leader of Earth's Special Forces, a tough woman who had survived more battles than most people could count. With respect, Admiral, we have maybe 50,000 soldiers spread across the galaxy. They have billions. How exactly are we supposed to end anything? Admiral Choi smiled. It was not a happy smile. It was the kind of smile a hunter makes when they finally understand how to catch their prey. Colonel, what is humanity's greatest strength? She asked. Our technology, Yoon guessed. No, the aliens have better technology. Our numbers, no. We have the smallest population of any spacefaring race. Our weapons, no. We borrowed all our weapons from the aliens. Yoon frowned. Then what? We adapt. Admiral Choi said simply. We change, we learn, we survive by becoming something different when we need to. The aliens cannot do this. They are too specialized, too stuck in their ways. Dr. So Young Kim, who had been promoted and brought to Earth to help with the planning, stood up. She had spent the last 6 months studying every piece of data about alien psychology she could find. The hegemony has been using the same basic tactics for over 3,000 years, she said. They always try to win with superior technology. Always. If their shields fail, they build better shields. If their weapons break, they build better weapons. They never think about fighting differently. The unity is the same, added Captain Dong-Woo Lee, who had been called back from the front lines. They always use numbers to solve problems. More soldiers, more ships, more everything. They never think about using fewer soldiers more cleverly. And the Alliance, So Young continued, always tries to win with perfect plans. They spend months planning every detail of their attacks, but when something unexpected happens, they cannot adapt fast enough. Admiral Choi nodded. Exactly. They are like 3 players who have been playing the same game for so long that they forgot there might be other ways to play. Engineer B. Gnome, a thin man with thick glasses, spoke up from the back of the room. I have been working on something interesting. I took hegemony shield technology, Unity communication systems, and Alliance navigation computers. I combined them in ways the aliens never thought of. Me activated a hologram showing a strange-looking device. The aliens never share technology because they think their way is the only right way. But what if we used all their technologies together? What does it do? Admiral Choi asked. Many things, Byung-ho said with excitement. It can make our ships invisible to hegemony sensors while copying Unity coordination systems. It can confuse Alliance tactical computers while using their own navigation systems against them. Major Yoon Seo Kong, who had been quiet until now, finally spoke. She was Earth's best diplomat, someone who understood how to talk to aliens without making them angry. We need to be careful. If we show our hand too early, They might unite against us. That is why we are going to do something very clever, Admiral Choi said. We are going to make them think we are getting worse, not better. She pressed a button and the galaxy map changed. Red dots appeared everywhere, showing human positions across all the war zones. For the next 6 months, our people are going to start making mistakes, small ones at first, then bigger ones. We are going to look like we are falling apart under the pressure of the war. What kind of mistakes? Dongwu asked. The kind that make the aliens trust us less? Admiral Choi explained. We will mess up supply deliveries. We will give bad intelligence reports. We will fail to fix their equipment properly. We will make them think humans are becoming unreliable. So Young understood. First, you want them to stop listening to us? Exactly. Right now, they still ask for our opinions sometimes. They still tell us some of their plans. We need them to ignore us completely. We need them to think we are too stupid and weak to matter. Hyjin grinned. And while they are ignoring us, we do what we do best, which is, Admiral Choi asked, we improvise, we adapt, we find ways to win that they never thought of. Over the next few weeks, the plan began to take shape. Human soldiers across the galaxy started their new mission. They began to look incompetent on purpose. Hegemony engineers started receiving broken equipment from human repair teams. Unity logistics officers found their supply lines getting confused thanks to human mistakes. Alliance scouts began providing intelligence that was just slightly wrong. The aliens started to get frustrated with their human helpers. They began to ignore human suggestions and exclude humans from important meetings. Some alien commanders started treating humans like they were too stupid to understand complex ideas. This was exactly what Earth wanted. While the aliens were busy being annoyed with human incompetence, they missed something important. Human soldiers were learning everything they could about alien technology, alien tactics, and alien psychology. They were studying their enemies' weaknesses and finding new ways to exploit them. Captain Dongwu Li sent regular reports back to Earth. The hegemony commander I work with now treats me like I am a child. He explains nothing and expects me to just follow orders. He has no idea that I have been mapping every weakness in their ship designs. Major Hyjin Yoon was training special teams in tactics that had never been used in space warfare. Tactics that came from Earth's history of guerrilla fighting, urban warfare, and psychological operations. Engineer Byung-ho Noam was building weapons and tools that combined alien technology in ways that broke every rule the aliens had about how things should work. And Dr. So-Young Kim was developing plans to use alien psychology against them. Plans that would make each race's greatest strength become their greatest weakness. After 6 months of looking incompetent, humans across the galaxy were ready for something the aliens had never seen before. They were ready to fight a war that followed no rules the aliens understood. Admiral Choi looked at her team of commanders and scientists and engineers. Are we ready? Yes, ma'am, they said together. Then let's show the galaxy what happens when you underestimate the human race. The attack began at exactly 12 o'clock Earth Standard Time across 17 star systems. Human forces struck all at once, but this was not the kind of attack anyone expected. Commander Taemin Park stood on the bridge of what used to be a cargo ship. Now it was something else entirely. Engineer Byung-ho Nam had filled it with mining equipment, construction tools, and farming machines. To the hegemony fleet approaching them, it looked like a joke. Sir, they are laughing at us, reported Lieutenant So-Young Kim. She was monitoring hegemony communications. Their commander just said we must be desperate to send farmers and miners to fight them. Tae-Min smiled. Perfect. Let them laugh. The hegemony fleet was massive. 50 warships with shields so strong they could stop nuclear weapons. Their commander, a giant lizard-like creature named Vexter, had never lost a battle in 300 years. Little humans, Vexter's voice came over the communication system. Surrender now and we will kill you quickly. Your pathetic cargo ship cannot harm us. We will see about that, Timon said quietly. The hegemony ships fired their most powerful weapons. Beams of energy that could melt planets struck Timon's ship. But something strange happened. The beams bounced off harmlessly. Impossible! Vextar shouted. Our weapons can destroy anything. Bing Ho Nam laughed from the engineering section. Your weapons are designed to break through military shields, but we are not using military shields. We are using modified mining equipment that deflects asteroids. Your fancy weapons do not know how to handle simple deflector fields. Before the hegemony could figure out what was happening, Taman's ship released thousands of small objects. They looked like space junk, but they were actually farming robots programmed to plant seeds. The robots swarmed the hegemony ships and began planting something on their hulls. Not seeds, but small biological organisms that ate metal. What are these things? Vexstar screamed as his ships began to fall apart. Earth bacteria, Taman explained calmly. They eat iron and steel. Your super advanced shields cannot stop bacteria because you never thought anyone would use biological weapons this simple. Within an hour, the entire hegemony fleet was disabled. Their ships were still floating, but they could not move or fight. The bacteria had eaten through all their important systems. Meanwhile, on the other side of the galaxy, Major Hyjin Yoon was dealing with the Unity Collective in a completely different way. The Unity had sent 1 million soldiers to capture a small human outpost. They moved together like a perfect army, all thinking the same thought, all following the same plan. But Hyjin had a surprise for them. As the Unity forces advanced, they began hearing something strange. Music, human music coming from speakers, hidden all around the battlefield. But this was not just any music. Dr. So-Young Kim had spent months studying Unity psychology. She had learned that the Unity's shared mind worked like a radio frequency. If you could disrupt that frequency, the individual Unity soldiers would start thinking for themselves. The music contained special sound patterns that interfered with Unity brainwaves. As the soldiers listened, they began to have their own thoughts for the first time in their lives. Where am I? Asked one Unity soldier, looking around in confusion. Who am I? Asked another. Why am I fighting? Asked a third. Within minutes, the million-soldier army had become 1 million confused individuals who did not know what they were supposed to do. They had spent their whole lives following orders from the shared mind. Now they had to think for themselves, and they did not know how. Many of them simply sat down and started crying. Others wandered around asking questions. Some tried to help their wounded comrades instead of continuing to fight. The Unity tried to reconnect with them, but the music kept interfering. For the first time in Unity history, soldiers were refusing orders because they wanted to make their own choices. We do not want to fight anymore, said one of the former Unity soldiers. To Hyjin, we want to learn how to be individuals like you. The third attack was happening in the Kepler system, where Captain Dongwoo Lee was facing the Free Worlds Alliance. The Alliance had created what they thought was a perfect battle plan. They had studied human tactics for months and prepared counters for every possible move humans might make. But Dongwoo was not using human tactics. He was not using any tactics at all. His fleet moved in completely random patterns. Ships would suddenly change direction for no reason. Some would attack, then retreat, then attack again. Others would fly in circles or upside down. The Alliance commanders were going crazy, trying to understand the human strategy. What is their plan? Asked General Morcon, the Alliance's greatest military mind. I do not know, admitted his tactical computer. Their movements make no sense. There is no pattern, no logic, no strategy at all. Then how do we counter it? We cannot counter chaos, sir. Our plans depend on the enemy following some kind of logical pattern. While the Alliance was trying to figure out what the humans were doing, Dongwoo's ships were doing something very simple. They were ignoring the Alliance's main fleet and attacking their supply ships. Instead, the Alliance had protected their battle fleet perfectly, but they had forgotten to protect their food, fuel, and ammunition supplies. Within hours, their mighty fleet was stranded without resources. Sir, we are out of fuel, reported the Alliance fleet commander. Impossible. We planned for a 3-day battle. The humans are not fighting a 3-day battle, sir. They are fighting a 3-hour battle against our supply lines. As news of the 3 victories spread across the galaxy, something unprecedented happened. All three alien factions sent messages to Earth at the same time. They were asking for peace. Talks. Admiral Ji-Hai Choi sat in her command center, reading the messages. Each alien leader was saying the same thing in different words. We do not understand how you fight. We cannot defend against enemies who do not follow the rules. Please, let us talk. Dr. So Young Kim looked at the Admiral doll. They are scared. For the first time in their lives, they have met an enemy they cannot predict or understand. Good, Admiral Choi said. Fear will make them listen. Fear will make them think about change. 3 weeks later, representatives from all three alien factions met on a neutral space station. They sat across from 5 humans who looked small and weak compared to the mighty alien warriors. But the aliens no longer thought humans were weak. How did you do it? Asked Vexter, the hegemony commander. How did you defeat us so easily? Admiral Choi stood up. You asked us to fight your war. We chose to end it instead. You see, you all made the same mistake. You thought there was only one right way to fight. But there is, protested the Unity representative. Mathematics and logic prove that certain tactics are superior. Maybe, Admiral Choi said with a small smile. But what happens when your enemy does not care about your mathematics? What happens when they refuse to fight the way you expect them to fight? The Alliance General leaned forward. You are saying that unpredictability is a valid military strategy. We are saying that adaptability beats specialization, Admiral Choi replied. You are all very good at one thing. We are okay at many things. When you met an enemy who could be anything, you did not know how to respond. The alien representatives looked at each other. For 15 years, they had been locked in a war that none of them could win. In 15 days, a supposedly inferior species had defeated all of them. What do you want from us? Asked Vexstar. Peace, Admiral Choi said simply. We want you to stop killing each other. We want you to learn that being different does not mean you have to be enemies. And so the greatest war in galactic history ended not with a final battle, but with a simple lesson. Sometimes the best way to win a fight is to change the rules completely. The galaxy learned that day that humans were not the weakest species among the stars. They were something much more dangerous and much more valuable. They were the species that refused to accept that anything was impossible